Hello, welcome back to a festive episode of Winds Around the World. I'm so blessed today to have with me my friends from Cruise Professional Advisors Alliance, CPAA. And let me introduce you. You know them all, but let me introduce you. It's Shannon McKee with me, founder and CEO of Access Cruises. Claudine, Pohl, founder of Lemoneight. Roger Blum, principal at Cruise Port Advisors. We have David Selby with us, managing director of Travelyields. And last but not least, McFadden, founder and CEO of Maritime. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today on this festive episode. Let's talk about cruise. Let's talk about experiences. Let's talk about what happened this year. My first question goes to Shannon, and we'll go to everybody the same. We all went to cruises this year. Shannon, can you tell us what was the highlight for you?
The highlight of my cruise, oh my gosh, Ioannis, that was the cruise was amazing, I have to say, because I was in your home country. I was in Greece. I mean, how much more spectacular does it get than coming to Greece? So I was able to sail with my mother-in-law and my son on Seabourn, and it was just so fabulous to be back at sea. I have to say that in particular. And, you know, one of the big questions that I had come out from everyone was, how safe did you feel? And I think, you know, you're the king of restart, right? So you've been doing all the restart. In fact, in Greece, you know, that was your focus. And I have to say that I was so impressed with both Greece as well as Seabourn in the protocols and the touch points when you came in. I mean, I think we were tested 5 times in a matter of 12 days. So being on board, we were able to go without our mask. We felt very comfortable. We felt very safe. We really loved just being back in that, you know, space of cruise and the joy that it brings everybody. So I have to say, I was super impressed in everything that the cruise lines did. And we were right there in the beginning. You know, in the summer when Greece was starting back up, we were there the first week of August. So we've come a long way. We're December now. We've seen those protocols grow and evolve. But as I said, I was super impressed with the health and safety protocols that were in place in Greece as well as on board.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Dan. I mean, we're proud, and I was so happy to be able to host you and have our barbecue. It's something to remember.
That was a big highlight, I have to say. My son still talks about that. My daughter brought up a picture yesterday. She was going, "Look, Mom, look at all the highlights from the summer," and it was you and Colton standing at the barbecue.
Excellent, excellent. Next, let's go to the Claudine. Claudine, what was your experience? Your best experience, highlight for you in your cruise this year?
Awesome. Well, thanks, Ioannis. So I was on 2 cruise ships. Well, and Virgin Voyages is also 3, let's say. So I think I'll go with Scenic Eclipse. That was out of Saudi Arabia. It was a small 6-hour luxury cruise line. That was pretty neat. But the story I want to share was from someone I met on board. Her name's Safana. So Safana works for Cruise Saudi. Now, this young girl, she started this program on board another cruise line, which is MSC Cruise Lines. And what she started is this program to have students go on board MSC ship for about a month, 2 months at a time to learn about the cruise industry. You know, even though I've been on board, you know, Scenic Eclipse, which is absolutely amazing. Can I just say the technology on board, and they have a submarine, you get to go underwater and everything. This story about meeting Safana on board Scenic Eclipse and her sharing the story about this program on board MSC with all these students, having them go through this program. I was just talking to her the other day, and she was like, "Claudine, we just got another group of students on board." It just really brings real joy to me, because it's like we're really spreading what this industry is about. We're really sharing the knowledge of what the industry is about. So I think for me, that's my moment of true joy, was learning about this program and just seeing how Saudi Arabia is really embracing the cruise industry. The end. Thanks, Ioannis.
Excellent, excellent, Claudine. Thank you so much. I think I'll jump to my friend Roger. Roger, you were also hosted in Greece. We had an excellent time together, and thank you so much for that. So that was one of my highlights, I must say, even though it was not cruise together with Shannon. But please go ahead. What is your highlight from your cruise?
Well, for Greece, it wasn't actually a cruise ship, but I did island hop, and I'm not sure how many ferries I came on and off. And just a quick comment about Ioannis's barbecue. I'm not sure how many thousands of people are watching us right now, but for our family, Ioannis cooked enough food to feed thousands of people. So it's definitely a treat. But as far as being on cruises, I've actually had an interesting, I guess, 6-7 weeks. I've been on 4 cruise ships. I've actually sailed on 4 ships. I was fortunate enough to be invited on the inaugural of the Celebrity Apex, as well as the Odyssey of the Seas, as well as the naming for MSC Seashore. And I just got off the Freedom of the Seas. I know Shannon has already commented, and Claudine, as far as the health protocols. And absolutely, that is the most impressive. But it's not so much even the fact that the protocols exist, it's how easy it really is. It's not burdensome. Naturally, I think all of us are getting, our noses are a lot stronger for being tested, but everything else is very seamless. There's so much stuff on the ships that really you don't see. The filtration in the air conditioning, the increased sanitation, all of that. But it's not burdensome. It's not that you go on a cruise and you feel like you're walking around in a hazmat suit and you can't enjoy the cruise. It was totally enjoyable. But as far as if I was to give one takeaway, and one thing that was actually a common thread between all of these ships was the crew. All of us who have been in the industry know that the crew on all of the ships, it's amazing, the passion, the energy, the friendliness, the dedication. The crew on all of these ships are at another level. They are so happy. They are so excited for what they're doing. And in private conversations, including just a couple of days ago on the Freedom of the Seas, how appreciative the crew are of their cruise lines for the personal care and attention that they were given. They realized that the cruise lines were put into very, I shouldn't say awkward, because that would be an understatement, position. And the cruise lines really cared about the crew, and the crew was so appreciative. My last point is, when I moderated one of my panels at Seatrade a few months ago, one of the questions from the audience was, well, if everybody's wearing masks, how can you have a good time? Well, the mask wearing for the guests depended on the vaccination level. Royal Caribbean issued little wristbands. If you were vaccinated, there were venues of the ship you could go into where everybody was vaccinated and you didn't have to wear a mask. In other areas, you would, but throughout all of the ships, the crew wore a mask. And I'm not sure as far as your hometowns, but here in Miami, when you see people with masks, you really can't tell if they're smiling. On board the ship, you could absolutely tell throughout all of these ships, the major smiles that were behind these masks. So my takeaway is the crew. I'm blown away by the crew.
Thank you so much, my friend. It's always extremely nice to know that everybody who is back on the ships is so appreciative. You know, that having back post, and this is been shown all over the world. I can also vouch for that. You know, this same thing happened here. But David, I know you had some nice adventures with your son, and
did
other
indeed.
adventures with you.
Yeah, well, I don't know about Roger and his 4 cruises in the last 7 weeks. I've been in this business nearly 25 years. And in 2021, it was the chance to have my first cruise with my family. So a bit later, and the reason, as you rightly say, my son has autism and various learning difficulties. So it's not always so easy to get him on a cruise ship. But what the pandemic has done has thrown up some opportunities that would not have otherwise arisen. And as people know, I'm sure there are a number of domestic cruises from UK ports, particularly Southampton. And he's very much into Walt Disney characters. And we were able to go on a 2-night cruise on the Disney Magic. And that was great. And because we have to prepare for Matthew quite so much. I was on the phone to Pohl Britton, who is Disney's marine operations manager, just to help prepare. My daughter happened to be in the car at the time, and she just graduated in digital animation. So she has a degree in that. And when she heard me talking to Pohl, she said, well, I want in. It was originally going to be myself and Matthew. And then wife Lorraine says, well, if you lot are going, then I want to go. So it ended up being a 2-night cruise on the Disney Magic, and it was fabulous. And just to reiterate what everybody else has said, you know, the protocols were very thorough. Naturally enough, despite the fact that Disney arranged for staggered boarding times, everybody rolled up at 2 o'clock. So yes, there were lots of people. But as you say, we got on fairly quickly. And it was, you know, one thing that I would take away. It was only 2 nights, so it was just a song. It was enough for Matthew. It was a bit overwhelmed, but they had the Disney Channel, of course, in the cabin, so he was very happy. One thing I would say is that the UK domestic cruise operation program this year, I believe, has brought a lot of new to cruisers into the market, because there have been a number of travel restrictions, general overseas flying travel restrictions. I mean, you guys have been further away than I have this year, but I think, you know, it's presented some opportunities for certainly the UK market, and who knows, maybe there'll be another opportunity. And yeah, he has fond memories as we all do. So that's my highlight for 2021.
Thank you so much, David. And I can feel you. I had a brother who had similar problems. So well done to you. Well done for being there for your son, and we're there with you. My friend with the Northern Lights, Mike, how are you? What's your highlight experience for the cruise this year?
I'm doing fine, Ioannis, and glad to be here with our CPAA team. We've only had one cruise experience for 2021, and that was the recent Freedom of the Seas cruise with the FCCA Platinum membership. And not to be redundant to my colleagues here, but my wife and I, Holly, were impressed from top to bottom. We live about what normally is about a 2-hour drive north of Miami. So we got down on time and anticipated the usual embark, drill, etc. And we were absolutely amazed at the efficiencies. We had 3 vaccination card checks, ID checks, and between all of that, it probably took us a whole 10 to 12 minutes to get board. And everybody was just as, you know, congenial and accommodating as they could possibly be. Every crew member we encountered and chatted with was just the enthusiasm, the happiness of just being there. We're back to work. We're feeling good about this. And that just emanated through the entire cruise. On the cuisine side, again, we were very, very impressed, whether it be at the, you know, the Windjammer or the main dining rooms or specialty dining, everything was just top shelf. And again, interaction with crew was probably the highlight of it all. I was fortunate enough to be able to spend some time with the captain, who, not surprisingly, is Norwegian. And I've had quite a bit of experience representing Norwegian ports. A lot to talk about, and getting his insight on how the industry is ahead of the ramp up with increasing the passenger capacities month by month and how they plan to manage that. And it just, everybody seemed to be really, really in sync. And of course, on the back end of the cruise and the debark process, again, probably the most efficient that I've ever experienced, all the way from the ship to luggage to parking garage to back out on the road. We couldn't have been happier.
Thank you, Mike. I mean, I will never forget, and actually the best steak I had for 21 was on board a Norwegian Jade. I must say that, you know, everything you said goes, yes. I've been to a few test cruises myself, but the best steak for this year goes to Norwegian Jade from my side. So there you go. Okay, thank you so much. And also, let's not forget that in December, we will have more than 240 ships sailing and increasing steadily. So we are very, very optimistic by the time Seatrade hits the shelves next April. more or less all the ships will be back on the water, and that's something great. Let's go back to the beginning, Shannon. I know 21 was from one side a difficult year for your business, for all our business, but I know that all of us had some highlights. But because I want to keep it on the positive side, give us one good story. What happened that you're grateful for this year within your business?
Ioannis, I'm grateful for so much this year. As you said, it's definitely been a challenging year with the restart of cruise. But what I'm most grateful for is really just the collaboration and working with this group that we have here. I've had an opportunity to collaborate with each of you on different levels, on different projects that we've been able to do. And I've just had a lot of fun doing it because I think I've grown as a person, I've grown as a consultant, and I've helped my clients along the way. We've kind of been forced into this space that maybe we're a little more uncomfortable in. But I'm really appreciative for it. I'm grateful for it. Roger and I started our take on cruise. We were doing that because of Seatrade and thought we would do some vlogs instead of doing some blogging for Seatrade. And we've continued on with that. I've managed to get Roger to dance. I've seen him dance now, which is a big deal. That was a big highlight. That was a big win for me. So it's been a great year, and I have a lot to be grateful for. But as I said, I think I'm really grateful for this group here and the collaboration and the opportunities of being able to work with all of you.
Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, we all feel the same, I think. But Claudine is the youngest and newest member in the gang of CPAA. But Claudine, we are all so impressed with the steps you've taken forward with your own business, Lemoneight. Give us the best moment.
I have lots of best moments, and I'm so grateful. So thanks to all of you for allowing me to be part of this amazing group, and I really thank you guys. I know I can count on you guys as well. I remember one time in the meeting, Claudine said, "I have a great idea. I need some feedback." And all you guys are like, "This is a terrible idea, Claudine. This is why." And I'm like, wow, this is what this group is for, right? Like just guiding me. And I really feel the support of, if I know that if I need anything, like I know Shannon's helped me a lot, Roger, Mike, David, and Ioannis. I know David hooked me up with some material for one of my presentations. Everybody just, we can count on each other, and it's just wonderful. But my best moment, here we go. Being on Virgin Gorda and then going to Necker Island and hanging out with Richard Branson. That was epic. I can't say, I've been to a lot of places this year, but meeting Richard Branson is on the books. Going to Necker Island, what an experience. That's what I can say.
Claudine, we all thought that was a cutout. You mean that wasn't a cutout?
No, that was really him. And you know what's hilarious? I saw something came out the other day, like a couple of days later, and he was wearing the exact same shorts. And I was like, I had to take a picture. I'm like, I have a picture with him with the exact same shorts. Like, I don't know why that just created an extra excitement for me. But that's one moment.
Steady.
Thanks, Ioannis.
Thank you, Claudine. Roger, I know both kids are in college, and I know you're very proud and happy for them, but tell us, what is your personal highlight for your business this year?
Okay, well, the kids in college, obviously on a personal basis, it's been a great year in spite of everything going on in the world. On a business basis, I agree with everything that Shannon and Claudine have already said about the CPAA group. We did found this group in the middle of 2020, but we really have found a rhythm. Each week we do get together, we all speak, we get different perspectives. Ioannis, you cover us in Europe. David, you're covering us in the UK. We're over here in the US. We're able to go to different events that maybe we all can't attend, and we keep each other current. Each time we hang up the phone, or hang up our leave on our Zoom calls, I should say, hang up the phone. That's very old-fashioned. I always come away with some bit of knowledge that goes beyond anything you can get just reading the press. We do bounce ideas off each other. So I've really enjoyed that. Beyond that, it's kind of something that I'm almost tired of hearing about, but everyone talks about how through this pandemic, we've all learned how to be more resilient, more adaptive, more ready for change. And the only reason I didn't want to say it is because everyone talks about it, but it's very, very true. We have all learned to adapt to whatever the situation is quicker than we ever imagined, and to be ready to change, because whatever we adapt to a few minutes later or a day later or a week later is going to be different. So there's the old expression about coming up with ideas and they're carved in marshmallow, meaning that you can come up with these very firm ideas that are still going to be changed. So I think that's a really good lesson and takeaway that's going to last with all of us, that you always have to be ready to change and to do something new.
That's excellent, Roger, and I agree with you. I mean, this year has been all about change and be resilient and strengths. And I do fully appreciate what we're doing here with CPAA. I mean, there was times for me that I needed help to find out someone, and I know that in between us we have more than 120 or more years of experience. So whoever is listening out there, we can handle anything and everything. David, to you, my friend, highlights
Yes,
for you personally.
Well, as everybody has said and gone before, it's nice to belong to this group, and certainly with more working from home and more isolation through these times. I think it's important to stay connected, and I'm very grateful for the collaboration that we have on a sort of personal business level for myself. And I think it's all right to say this. People know that I'm also conference director of the International Cruise Summit in Madrid. And I can say this because Ioannis, I think you say Ioannis, I think that's right, Ioannis, Holly Payne and Mary Bond came out to Madrid. We have a good relationship, just as I want to go to Miami and in April. And what I would say, because Seatrade Hamburg wasn't able to happen and Madrid was in person, what was great was that everybody was up for it, because people want to meet and people want to get out there and see each other again. And my take on that is that it will come more and more. You know, when we did Madrid last year, it was pretty much all on Zoom, which then that was scary on itself. This was all live. You know, it is coming back, and people do want to see each other. I think we are ready. And I look forward to Miami in April for sure, and seeing you guys in person, everybody, which we haven't done for some considerable time. Grateful for my clients.
Roger's hosting a barbecue.
Say again.
Roger's going to host a barbecue.
Fantastic, thanks, Roger. I'll come out for that, as I'll spend an extra day out in Miami, Roger. So I'm just very grateful for everything, really, onwards and forwards.
Thank you, David. And I can tell Mike that I've been enjoying your shows and presentations of some of your projects when you shared with us. That week was a great thing to see. But the floor is on you. What were your highlights, personal or business, in this year?
Oh, thanks, Ioannis. I think 2021 can be summed up in 2 words for Maritime: improvise and compromise. That's pretty much been the mantra, and having the interaction with clients and trying to keep projects online, on time, has been a wee bit of a challenge, but it is working. Whether it be the Port Coral project in Belize or the terminal upgrades for the city of Norfolk, they are in some ways miraculously moving along quite well. And for me personally and professionally, working with this organization has been so beneficial, and I think it's enhanced all of our productivity, because we can use each other as a sounding board. Some of us have collaborated on projects through the course of the years. But I must share something. I think it's very important. And Roger was with me one of the evenings on the Freedom of the Seas. We're having a nice dinner, Roger and his family, and a number of people. And one of the cruise executives that joined us without any solicitation brought up the CPAA and was quite complimentary. And the way he phrased it was, this is a group with integrity that we can trust. And we're very comfortable going to them individually or as a whole. So in that context, I think our next steps, perhaps next year, is to really enhance that in the eyes of the cruise industry and all of our other potential clients, because I think the reputation has been cemented. Thanks.
Oh my God, that's great. It's the first time I hear it. So
That's beautiful.
my-
I hadn't heard that either. Thanks for sharing, Mike.
I'm quite happy, yes. And let me share my thing. I think for me, building my virtual office was one of the highlights, and becoming truly global as a company. You know, I have clients now in more than 6 countries, 44 ports around the world. So I'm really happy and thankful and grateful for all your guidance and support. You know, nobody knows everything, but all of us know everything. And that's the real power of this organization. Let me change the page and maybe go back to our clients and maybe just give us one quick highlight for one of your clients or two. I mean, and I will start first this time, Shannon, but to me, the highlight for my clients was to the port of Mykonos when we were doing back in 2020, but 2021 really kicked off the protocols. And it was the first port in the world that they used the mascot, the local mascot, Peter the Pelican, in their distancing stickers. And that was amazing. And they said, please stay one adult pelican apart. And they put the wings like that, you know, to remain safe. And everybody, when they looked at it, they were smiling. And I think that became a trend after Mykonos. So for me, for my client, this was one of the highlights. But for you, Shannon?
You know, a lot of our clients are still, we're still not receiving ships. You know, we work up in Canada, we work in Hawaii, in Croatia. So we're still looking towards 2022. I have to share, I guess it's a little bit of a good news, bad news, good news. We've been on a roller coaster this year, and that is our client Haifa Port, because oh my God, the news came out back in the spring and we were so excited. We were going to get the Odyssey of the Seas. Yes. And she was going to be home porting all summer and everybody was ready. And then the political situation changed and we lost her. But out of that, what we did get is that we got that Royal Caribbean is going to be home porting next year out of Haifa Port, Israel. So, you know, they had to cancel this year's season, but they're trying it again. And we also got Norwegian to try home porting. So this has been a story. Yes, I mean, this has been a story that Linda and I have worked on since we started with Haifa Port 6 years ago. And everybody told us, no, 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 no. So as I say to any new client that we pick up, persistence beats resistance, because it may not be the right time, but you know, if you truly believe in what you're doing and there's opportunity there, eventually your message will be heard. But you know, you have to stick with it, and you have to be persistent. So that was my good news story. So we were super excited about that.
Let me give you some more good news, because MSC is also going to be home porting Haifa for some calls.
Wow.
There you go.
Thanks,
There you go.
Ioannis. I haven't spoken to Linda yet this morning. So
and of course, Mano Cruises, we will be starting in 22 full season. The traditional, excellent cruise line as well. So Haifa is on for a good season. Claudine, I know you have a zillion stories of zesting, but give us your highlight.
Okay, so my highlight, I have to focus on St. Martin, Port of St. Martin. I started working with St. Martin last year, and with the destination and with the port. And I told the port, I said, look, there's some awards coming up with Seatrade. Let's win something. Let's do something. Where can we stand out? Because that's one of my branding things. It's let's stand out in everything that we do. Anyway, St. Martin won the We Are Back award from Seatrade Cruise Global. bam, drop the mic. That's my highlight. The end. Bam, I'm done.
Yes, yes, and congratulations to St. Martin. It was actually on one of my episodes of Wings Around the World, so I'm happy for
Alex.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
Alex, hi Alex, wherever you are, we'll be talking soon. David, to you, what's your highlight for all the clients?
Yeah, I'm gonna squeeze in quickly too, and they're quite different. I'm gonna pick up on Shannon's point about persistence. I work with a tiny port in Holland, a little place called Harlingen, which is north of Amsterdam, just south of Bremerhaven. And your point about persistence, they can only take in ships of up to 160 meters. But in 2023, which is their year, we have got multiple calls now, not just one a season, multiple calls from Hurtigruten, Mystic. We've got the inaugural for Swan Hellenic, they're calling, and that I applaud your Zelia system, Shannon, because I was able to, having populated it and send the CEO the information, they acted on that straight away, and we've got multiple calls from Windstar. So that's number one. On a slightly different note, I work with Stornoway in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland, and as well as COVID, you know, we've had some challenges unique to the UK called Brexit. And they're in Stornoway are building a deep water port. Because of various issues, whether it's COVID, whether it's Brexit, they had to reshape their plans because the costs were spiraling. They had to redo it. They did redo it. And they got funding from the Scottish government. That's the positive point, the fact that you realize that things are not, in terms of cost, going the way that you first thought they were. It's having the courage to stop, redo, go back for funding, having re-engineered the project and you know, made it sensible again, because ultimately building a deep water port is a long-term play, and if it goes out of hand, then it reflects in the port charges going forward, and we can't have that, or else it wouldn't happen. So well done to the guys at Stornoway. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. I'll go to Mike now. Mike, show us what you're wearing. What are you wearing? What's this you're wearing? We like it so much.
You said this is a nice Christmas collar that I had to borrow from Harry. Harry is a 90-pound yellow Labrador retriever, but he's a pretty benevolent fella, so he let me for an hour with a promise to return and lots of treats.
Excellent. What tell us your favorite from all the clients? I know you had many stories to share.
Well, we had quite a zinger this year with the city of Norfolk. Something is, I'll put in the terms of unorthodox. The city had ordered a new passenger boarding bridge to accommodate specifically the Carnival Magic in a different geometry, so they had to swap out equipment. And, you know, the manufacturing of a passenger boarding bridge is anywhere from a 12 to 18-month process. And during COVID and travel restrictions and border closings and everything else, to say it was challenging is quite an understatement. Now, historically, when PBB is being manufactured, the buyer, in this case, the city of Norfolk, would send one or two engineers and technical people over to the factory, which happens to be outside of Belgrade, Serbia, to do a 50% completion inspection and then 100% before shipping the product to the owner. This year, no way. Everything had to be done virtually. So there was video conferencing, walking through, you know, every increment of a 250-ton mechanical object, and having to go through that level of detail for the 50% completion. And then for prior to shipping, a lot of drone footage, again, more video, internal, external. And whether it be, you know, luck, skill, or a combination of all the above, the PBB has been delivered. It's being commissioned this week, and it works just fine. So that's my story.
Very well, Mike. Thank you so much for sharing. Last but not least, Roger.
Well, thanks, Ioannis. It has definitely been a memorable year. To go back to what Shannon said, for many of my clients, I wish that I could say that 2021 was equal to 2019. But unfortunately, I can't say that for any of my clients. It's still coming out of the dark. I was more optimistic that we would be further along than we are. But looking ahead, I'm still completely optimistic. Now, that doesn't mean people just kind of sat around saying, okay, you know, when's things going to happen? I think people have actually, my clients especially, and I imagine many people who are pretty smart have taken this pause as a chance to reevaluate the product, take a look to see what they can do better, to figure, okay, we've got some quiet period, we can put some new paint on, refurbish, call Claudine, do some bit more training. There's so many things that have been happening, and I'm very proud of my clients as opposed compared to just sitting around saying, hey, you know, where's my business? Where's my business? They've been working hard on their product delivery. And it's been a great opportunity for people to sit back, because in normal life and normal business, and especially the cruise business, which is always so busy, things are always happening, things are always expanding, things are always moving, that you don't have a chance to catch your breath and say, hey, what am I doing right? What should I be doing better at? And the smart people, and I'll say my clients are smart because they hired me, they must be. But besides for that, they've actually taken the time to really look at their product delivery. So when we do come out of this, I think that all my clients, and as many of us will have a much better, stronger product delivery. And I think that's been a great opportunity this year.
Thank you so much, Roger. And as much as I very much enjoyed talking with all of you, I think it's time to wrap it up. I think it's time to say to our viewers, we wish the best for 22, happy, healthy, and safe, calm waters, as we say, safe sailings and calm waters to our friends in the industry. Basically keep with it, be persistent, good days are ahead. And from all of us in CPAA, from each one of us, thank you so much for all your support all this year. We're looking forward seeing you all in Seatrade. We will be there. We're there with a big smile, doing some of the conferences and helping the industry go forward. Thank you so much, and wish you a happy new year, guys.